are pretty
Ah, but
active.
it can be,
I know.
they're cheap, though.
I
They
know,
won't be
yeah,
cheap.
but yet they're durable. There's one of those Dr. Scholl's kind of stuff there. I
Mm.
can use it during my leisure time. I would like to find me some of Steve Madden black suede or velvet loafers there, but I guess you gotta have to order them from online there.
What size are you?
13,
Ah, that's not
13W as
bad. They'll
well.
have it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they'll have those.
yeah, I know.
Just
I
gotta,
tried I tried looking at the nearby Burlington Coat factory here, but
yeah, try
unfortunately,
all those places. Yeah, try
yeah,
those. The Marshalls,
yep.
your Ross. Try all those.
I know, yeah. But the problem is, it's kind of hard to find any of those in my size there at some of these
Yeah.
locations there. But I got me a good pair, for bike riding and everything else there. So I'm pretty much good for the time being there. Okay. All right. So what's up, Wire? Everything
I
good?
just, I just sent you a picture of the Doppler radar.
The what?
Yeah, it's right where you are. So, Wires under a tornado watch.
Dr. Brown, are you ready for the hurricanes?
Which hurricanes? Where?
When you
Miami?
told
No,
when is hurricane season, Keith?
Hmm.
June 1st to November 30th.
Oh, we got a long while before that shit goes down. It's gonna.
Yep.
Well, I'm pretty much since we're about 4 hours from Miami. That's where it's gonna touch down. Correct?
No, it could go anywhere in Florida.
Well, we
There's
made it to.
no, there's no hurricane right now.
I know.
Like
Yeah, I
it
know.
could
You
go.
mentioned it's gonna be in June there, but then again, when you think about it, we were able to withstand Harvey years back there. So I'm hoping maybe the damage will be as intense as Harvey was back in 2017 there, because that
Keith, you
Yeah.
was
never had to
horrible,
like.
man.
Keith, you ever have to like? Do you have a storm shelter there? Is it storm shelter?
No, we're basically pretty much all
Or
set there. Like I said, we're
Nah,
you don't have?
but we
go
have a
ahead.
very durable house. It's one of those houses that you got to go through hell, absolute hell, just to even try and break a wall through.
Yeah, it all depends on how strong your house is.
Yeah, exactly. And how strong the winds are
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, I got the thing in the mouth.
I don't have a storm shelter. I'm just gonna be in my house. We put up hurricane shutters.
Uh,
What about
what is
the group home there?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Keith?
Okay.
What's the hurricane? What are the hurricane shutters?
Hur-
What?
Hurricane Irma was bad. That was
No, the shutters. What is that?
Oh, you put over the windows
I see
in
there.
case some blows to the
No,
window and smash
Yeah, I get where
like
you're
a
coming from at
plastic,
that there. Yeah.
like a plastic or wood or
metal. It could be wood or metal
metal.
Probably metal would be
And
the
Yep.
you
better
bolt them
choice there.
on. You
or
bolt them on.
aluminum.
They
Mm-hmm.
snap on.
Metal. No, not aluminum. Metal. What?
Hmm?
They snap on, or it's like you have to bolt them in.
They snap on.
Wow, interesting. Is that easy to do that?
No.
I see there.
I'd say I don't like. We have very old hurricane shutters, but
Oh wow.
like there's new ones that you just. It's like one of those movable. It's like a partition. You just move it like it's a partition.
I
Yeah.
see there. Yeah. Oh, so what's up,
But
Ark? Everything good, man?
Yep.
That's good to hear, man. I'm ready to go head into the 1980s there. And Key, they're outside again, right?
yeah.
Keith, you
Right
can
there.
put that microphone close to your mouth and we can get into the news real quick, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You want me to get to the news right now?
Go right ahead, man.
Okay. Jo- the first one, why is Jolyn Turner?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got all three, right?
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Jolyn Turner has nothing but good things to say about Richie Blackmore.
Oh.
In a new interview with Oh, you didn't what?
What?
Okay.
Huh?
In a new interview
Huh?
with the WHMFM Rockin' 101 radio station, former Rainbow and Deep Purple singer Jolyn Turner was asked about his experience working with the notoriously um good guitarist Richie Blackmore. He said, "Oh man, I've got nothing. I got nothing but good things to say. There's always negativity in bands, but I respect Richie, and he's very brilliant at what he does. And
Mm,
yeah, he can be difficult, but other than that, anybody who knows what they want and what kind they're doing is difficult because he's kind of a perfectionist, and being a perfectionist myself, we kind of got along on that. And we came out with such great songs together and pushed Rainbow into a different area, really on the Billboard charts and so on. And we just had a blast doing it. So I have fond memories of him, difficult or not. Last September, Turner slammed Blackmore for the guitarist's decision to go out and perform classic Deep Purple and Rainbow material with a new group of musicians instead
Magicians.
of
musicians.
reforming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what musicians instead of performing. Oh my! Oh, I had the volume down on my mic. My
I
bad.
see. Yeah, you gotta turn that up, man.
Yeah, instead of reforming Rainbow with a more authentic lineup. At the time, Turner, who
Yeah.
80 until 1984, it was from the 19 until
Yeah.
1992, said that he had been in talks with Blackmore for at least a year about a renewed collaboration before he found out from a French newspaper that Ricky was returning to rock music, but is excluding Joe from the project.
Mm.
Blackmore stepped away from his Renaissance-inspired brand of music with Blackmore's Night for the first time in 2016 to perform a handful of shows with a brand new lineup of the band he had formed after quitting Deep Purple. The current incarnation of Rainbow includes singer Ronnie Romero, originally from Chile but settled in Romania
I think your
Spain
voice
for
is
a
cutting
number
out,
of
man.
years. All right, I'll face away from the wind.
Yeah.
As well as Stradivarius keyboardist, Jens Jackson, Blackmore's night drummer, David Keith, bassist, Robert Bob Canaro, ex Blackmore's Night, and backing singers Candice Knight and Lady Lynn.
Mm.
Joe sang on the Rainbow album Difficult to Care, which featured the band's most successful UK single, I Surrender. During Tina Turner's first time, during Turner's time with Rainbow, the band had its first USA chart and success and recorded songs that helped define the melodic rock genre.
Yeah. Now, he did. Now Turner did 3 albums with Rainbow: "Difficult to Cure," "Straight Between the Eyes," and the last one was called "Bent Out of Shape." He also did 1 album with Deep Purple years later on, and 1 tour with them called "Slaves and Masters." And he also put out a solo disc called "Rescue You" in 1985. And of course, as you know, Turner decided to come clean about his hair loss situation. Completely removing the wig that he wore for many years and decided to reveal his bald head. And surprisingly, he looks way different. And the new stuff that he come out with also sounds different as well there. I listened to it. It's called Belly of the Beast. It's a pretty good song there. Pretty damn good song. Really heavy, a lot more heavier than the stuff he did with Rainbow. And also, let's not forget he did an album and tour with Inde Malmsteen as well. So much credit to him there. And by the way, YR, did you get the other Richie Blackmore guitar smashing video after you sent me the California Jam incident there?
Yes.
Nice. How would you think? How would you like to be in the front row of that show? You have to watch us, have to guard yourself in case that guitar would hit you in the head there.
Keith, did you watch that, man?
No.
Oh, you gotta watch it, man. And plus, watch both videos, man. Especially the California Jam. Richie destroys 3 guitars, helps blow up an amp, sets an amplifier on fire there. Drags everything out to the barrier between the audience and the stage there. Like nothing was left untouched. Not even the cameraman that was filming there. You look at it, he's even hitting the cameraman with his guitar there. In fact, he almost got arrested for that. Believe it or not. I don't know but keep in mind, keep in mind that Blackmore has also been known to be a diva at times. So the decision to go on, but then again, I can't really say more. Yeah, as far as Turner saying that he was upset that they wasn't able to reform the Rainbow. But keep in mind, Rainbow's had many lineups throughout the years there. And I guess since Blackmore owns the name, I guess it was originally Richie Blackmore's Rainbow when it first started out. So what the hell? It's all Richie's call. Nothing I can really say, but you know what? Credit to Richie. He is a big influence on the guitar playing there. To many guitar players. Also, Keith, check out the live video that was recorded in San Antonio, Texas in 1982. Pretty awesome show there.
All right.
Yeah, definitely, for sure, man. All right.
Next article.
Yes, go right ahead, man.
Longtime Pulp bassist Steve Mackey dead at 56. Longtime Pulp bassist Steve Mackey died Thursday, March 2nd, at the age of 56. The news was revealed on social media by the musician's wife, Katie, who shared that the musician passed after a 3-month hospital stay. A cause of death was not revealed. Mackey's wife shared, after 3 months in hospital, fighting with all his strength and determination, we are shocked and devastated to have said goodbye, my brilliant, beautiful husband, Steve Mackey. Steve died today, a loss of which has left myself, his son Marley, and parents Kath and Paul, sister Michelle, and many friends are all heartbroken. Steve was the most talented man I knew, an exceptional musician, produced, photographer, and filmmaker. As in life, he was adored by everyone whose path he crossed in the multiple creative disciplines he conquered. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all of the NHS staff who worked tirelessly for Steve. He will be missed beyond words. The family has asked for privacy at this time as they mourn the musician's death.
Oh.
The band also shared a message from commenting on the death of Mackey. In it, they shared one of their favorite photos of musicians. Our beloved friend and bass player Steve Mackey passed away this morning. Our thoughts are with his family and loved ones, stated the group when adding this photo. Steve dates back from when Pulp were on tour in South America in 2012. We had a day off and Steve suggested we go climbing in the Andes. So we did, and it was a completely magical experience, far more magical than staring at a hotel room wall all day. Steve made things happen in his life and the band, and we very much like to think that he's back in those mountains now on the next stage of his adventure. Safe travels, Steve. We hope to catch up with you one day. All our love, XX. Mackey was born on November. You want me to keep reading or no?
I think it stopped there. We know who the band Pulp is. I guess it's one of those British bands out there that came out in the 1990s, if I remember, alongside Oasis, Blur, a couple others there, Elastica. I never really heard any of Pulp's music there, let alone this guy's name. And Keith, mute your mic.
I never heard of Pope.
Neither have I. I only heard the name, but that was about it. I remember at that time I was not paying attention to MTV or anything on the radio. I was focusing on the avant-garde stuff there, like Scorn, Techno Animal, Godflesh, anything by Bill Laswell. That was my main stuff for around the later 1990s.
Oh yeah.
Right.
The later 1990s, I was listening to pop music, rock music, a little bit of rap, and a little bit of R&B.
Now, one thing I remember about the later 1990s is when the new metal scene came out. These kids were wearing this, what is it called? JNCO, jungle jeans there. Jeans that looked like tree trunks. You remember those, Keith?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me and my girlfriend Nancy, rest in peace, used to make fun of those pants all the time wherever we see them. We figured hiding some sort of an animal inside those trunks.
Wow.
Yeah, but you did that because they were so big. Hey, you could easily put a weapon or paste maybe duct tape a little chihuahua inside a tape to your leg there, maybe.
Yeah. You want me to go to the third article?
Which is the third article.
Marty Friedman hits at another potential performance with Megadeth.
Yeah, go right ahead, man. Marty Freeman
All
is a
right.
well-respected guitarist in rock and roll.
Yeah, Marty Friedman has hinted at another potential Megadeth performance just days after he joined his former band during a concert at Tokyo's prestigious Budokan Arena. The guitarist came up on stage for 3 songs toward the end of the main set on Monday, February 27th, Countdown to Extinction, Tornado of Souls, and Sympathy of Destruction. Speaking to Guitar World, when asked if there were any immediate plans for another Megadeth cameo, Marty teased, "We are both playing at Wacken Open Air Festival in Germany this summer, so you never know."
Walking.
Freeman also,
Walking.
yeah,
Open air walking.
walking. All right. Oh yeah. Freeman also revealed that the biggest challenge he faced during his Budokan appearance with Megadeth was performing his guitar solos the same way fans remember from his original stint with the band. If there was any challenge at all, I guess it would be playing the solos the way the fans remember them, which is something I wanted to do. Freeman noted my playing has evolved so much since those songs came out, and there are so many nuances I would naturally do differently now. I had to resist the urge to play it like I would in 2023 and stick to the original way. For example, in a couple of these songs, I entered the solo on the downbeat with the first note being the root of the chord. I would definitely avoid both of these things now, but apparently I was fine with it back then. A couple of days ago, Marty was asked by Consequence if he would be open to playing with Megadeth again, either on stage or in the studio. Yeah, man, the door's open. He said, I think the door has always been open. It's really just a matter of doing something that has meaning to it. Meaning for them and meaning for me. So Vatican is sort of a no-brainer. But if something were to come up that would be a good thing for them and a good thing for me and add value to it, then I'm all for it. As far as I'm concerned, their band is just kicking so much ass right now. I can't imagine them needing me for anything, but Buttigieg was wonderful. There's other things in the future. My door's open and we're on the great terms. I love all the guys in the band. It's very casual. This year's audition of Walk-In Open Air is set to take place August 2nd to 5th, 2023. Walk-In Open Air takes place annually in the village of Walk-In, which has a population of just about 2,000. Up to 85,000 people attend the event, which is 33 years old.
Mm-hmm.
The first Walk-In Open Air event in 1990 drew less than 80 people, but it has since grown to become the biggest open air festival of its kind. Around 30% travel from other countries to the festivals, which over recent years has been growing in popularity.
Interesting. Now, can I
Yeah,
can I say a little something about Dave Mustaine? Now,
yeah,
Dave Mustaine, since being booted from Metallica, has established a career of his own with his band Megadeth. We all know that. They released a lot of classic albums like Killing Is My Business, His Business Is Good, Peace Sells, But Who's Buying, So Far So Good, So What, Rust in Peace, Countdown to Extinction, Risk, Euthanasia, all those records, and they're still putting out new records. I guess and we all know they put out that new recent album last year called "The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead," and yet he still brings up Metallica, his old band, and I think it's time, just Dave, let it go. You established your own career. You made your own pot of gold. You made your own you made your destiny with your band. Metallica made theirs. It's no need to grieve about the way you was booted out of the group. You know, you were as an alcoholic. You were a massive addict throughout the years. You went to rehab how many damn times? 15, if I'm correct there. It's just let's let Metallica go. Just let that go. Concentrate on Megadeth. Megadeth should be the main goal right now. It's been your main goal. Talk to Lars. You could talk to James. Hang out with Kirk. Realize that you was in the wrong for the way you was back then. They realized that you was on the wrong for the way they booted your ass out. But at the same time, according to you, the disease, the quote unquote, was overtaking you at the time, and you'll know what I'm talking about there. You establish your career, focus on that, let Metallica do their thing. It would be nice for both bands to tour together as a unit. It'd be cool, a double headliner, but that's up to between both managements, okay? And if that does go down, be on good terms with one another. Realize your mistakes and they will realize theirs, okay? And please do not say Metallica is afraid to tour with Megadeth, Okay? You're both respected, established bands. You have millions of people following you and respecting you, buying your records. Let it go. Concentrate on Megadeth, not your past with Metallica. That was back in '83. Enough said. All right. All right, so are we ready, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, I am ready. You ready, YR, Ark?
Sure.
I'm ready to roll myself there. Okay, now the 1980s, probably one of the most experimental decade of all time. All sorts of things came out during that year, music-wise. New wave, rockabilly, heavy metal, glam metal, as it now referred to as. All sorts of stuff came out there. All sorts of situations came out of the blue, like the Jim Baker, Jimmy Swaggart scandals. We had a good president, Ronald Reagan, in office there. People were working. People were earning money. And of course, a lot of people earning all that money was spending it on cocaine. That was the main drug throughout the 1980s there. My bad. Now, all right. We had a lot of great music that came out there. And we're going to allow the Arkman to touch on, to describe, or to give us a list of all the great artists that came out during the 1980s. Now, keep in
Okay,
mind, go ahead. Well, let me start out that 1980 was like a big year for me because I discovered Hearts. I started with Baby Lestrange, great album from them, still one of my favorites. I was getting into Pink Floyd a lot. I was buying all their records, thanks to The Wall, which was released in the last month of the year before. I was also, also was discovering other stuff like Urban Verbs, which is a new wave act. It's a act that should have made it big there when you think about it. There was a lot of acts like Suicide and the Next. A band called, I forgot, what was that? The Fabulous Poodles, I think it was. Judas Priest had put it out their album at that time called British Steel. They were getting massive airplay with that record there. Black Sabbath had returned with a new singer, Ronnie James Dio. They were over the radio with the title cut of the album that they released, Heaven and Hell. Brian Johnson had became the new singer for AC/DC after the passing of Bon Scott earlier that same year. And of course, as I mentioned, The Wall was all over the Billboard charts, #1 throughout a good percentage of that whole year. Now, keep in mind, we had some bad points as well. The Iranian hostage situation was throughout the whole year. We lost Steve McQueen. We lost John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. We lost Bon Scott, as I stated earlier. And probably the biggest of all, losing John Lennon to some bastards 4 bullets because he thought that John Lennon had sold out his rebellious ways there. It's sad.
I want to say shout out to Jedi Knight in the chat.
Yeah, I see there. Yeah, what's up, Jedi Knight?
What's up, Jedi Knight?
And what's up to Mr. Diamond Graves? He expressed about being. Let me know in the chat if you want me to add you to the call. Just stay on the topic, dude. Okay. All right. All right there. He expressed it about being on the call with us there. And I see your boy Brian is back in the mix there. And he's muted, otherwise I'll be saying hi there. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Ark.
Okay, the list that I've got is one person's opinion of the top 100. I'm going to start at 100.
Yep.
Simply Red.
Oh yeah, we know that song. Holding back the years. That was back in 1985 there.
Next one I got is the Scorpions.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Love it. Lot of massive radio play. The album Blackout with the title cut. No One Like You. You Give Me All I Need. Of course, Love at First Sting. That was a massive album. Rock You Like a Hurricane, still a favorite. Still Loving You. Bad Boys Running Wild. I'm Leaving. Of course, let's not forget. Oh, Big City Nights. Good song from them.
Next one is Bobby Brown.
And he left a New Edition to become a solo artist, and he was the one that I guess he helped started that thing called he was part of the New Jack Swing around that later on that decade. There, he came out with a couple of solo records, and I guess I get, but at the same time, I'm kind of like frowning on the guy because according to many, this is the man that apparently got Whitney Houston hooked on drugs. As soon as the story was that she got booed from the Soul Train Music Awards because she was appealing to the white music audience, white people music crowd there, and I guess the black crowd at that time, which was basically was in the X Clan, Public Enemy, KRS-One, talking about black power, black awareness, black knowledge. They were not into what Whitney was doing at that time. In fact, she was at one point called Whitey Houston. So I guess her get involved with Bobby Brown, who has been known to be a bad boy, a player and such, was a way of trying to regain that audience, trying to make it seem a lot more edgier. And unfortunately, poor Whitney ended up being too close to the edge in a very horrible way there. And we also got knowledge of Whitney as well. Her first record sold how many copies back in 1985? She had a lot of string hits in the 80s there as well, in the second half.
YR is in a tornado watch. He will be in and out of service.
Oh, okay. And I guess this tornado's going to hit H-Town soon, I guess? Possibly?
I don't know.
And YR just left there. All right there, Brian, what's his name? Brian Michael? YR's back.
Brian. Just call him Brian.
Brian, you're mute. Come and say hi, dude. Nah, he's still on mute there. I don't know if he is,
Hello.
Hello?
I think
There
he's
you
in a storm too, Brown.
All right there. Brian, are you in the...
No, there's no story.
No. He's
He-
probably,
Yeah,
but
I
he's
mean-
keeping a watch for the whichever hurricane comes his way there.
Hurricane is coming
Uh.
to town.
Oh, jeez. Right there. Okay, so let's continue, guys.
Next one I got is Tears for Fears. They had a pretty big string.
Oh yeah, the song
Shout.
Shout, and of course everybody wants to rule the world, Mad World, and of course Change. Great song from them. And I guess they got back together a long while back, and I guess they're doing some shows, if I'm correct. And both guys, yes, they have gray hair, as all the people our age do. Hmm.
What about Aerosmith?
Oh yeah, they came back big in the '80s there.
Aerosmith.
The Aerosmith.
That's the best.
Hmm. Done with
Come
Mirrors,
on,
Permanent
Pete.
Vacation, Pump. They made
Didn't they have? Never mind.
they have what?
Didn't they have an album called Toy Box or something in the 80s?
Toy Box? You mean Toys in the Attic?
And that
Yeah.
was the 70s.
And that was
Oh, okay.
1977. One of their
Oh, all right.
most essential albums in their collection there.
Yeah.
That was the big one there. That's one with the title cut, Sweet Emotion, Walk This Way, big 10-inch record.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yep.
right.
Billy Ocean.
Oh yeah, we know this guy. He's from Trinidad, I understand there. And he had songs like Caribbean Queen, No More Love on the Run, Suddenly. He had a whole bunch of songs there. Like, in fact, he had a theme song for a song called When the Going Gets Tough, the Tough Get Going from the Romancing the Stone sequel. I forgot the name of the movie there, but it had Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner there.
Stevie Winwood.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
His
we know
solo
that-
career.
And I don't know why my what's up on my OBS. It's in the red right now, saying no data being picked up on the live stream there. I don't know what the hell is going on there. If it's gonna mess up, I'm going to be extremely pissed. But Steve Winwood had a lot of hits in the '80s there. His biggest one was, of course, Higher Love from '86. That record, Back in the High Life, which, by the way,
Oh yeah.
what?
They just redid that song.
Higher Love?
EDM artist. Yeah, an EDM artist. He made it like an EDM song.
There we go.
Like
Oh, I see them. We're back in
it's
the
1
green.
or 2 years ago, maybe.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard another cover version of that. While I was at work at times, a couple of times. They play all sorts of stuff on the radio, ranging from some of the current music to Al Stewart to Fleetwood Mac there. So,
Yeah.
but Steve
Yeah.
Winwood, he was also one of the guys who licensed one of his new songs at that time to be in that Michelob beer commercial. And here tonight, what is doing? As you see the beer being pulled into the glass there. I was like, give me a break. That is beyond cheese. So,
I
Yeah.
got the beginnings of bad weather here, so I may be in and out.
oh, I think that's probably what it is. The bad weather here. It's kind of funny because it was perfectly normal day today.
In fact, it sounds like it's raining pretty hard.
Really, it's raining right now. Wow,
We had hail this morning,
wow,
which
interesting.
was weird because it was 60 degrees.
Wow. Now I hope we're not having one of those problems that we're having again, where I was unable to stream live and all that bullshit there, because it makes me mad. Oh, everything is.
What temperature is it usually when it hails?
Uh, Generally, I don't really know for sure, but usually it's in the 30s and 20s.
Oh wow. But no, but tornadoes have a lot of hail, come with a lot of hail, or tornado weather.
Yeah, we got tornado weather here too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, now we're running. Hopefully. Thank goodness. And like I said, we're going to have to compile both part 1 and part 2 together to make this complete. Okay, so we're back live, everybody. Sorry for the issue there. All right, so Let's try this again.
Left off is Sade, which I'm not a big fan of, but she did have what, Smooth Operator?
Yep, Smooth Operator. You know, she had other songs as well there. I remember one of my
I know a
favorites.
smooth operator.
No, we all know Smooth Operator. We all had an interesting video for that
Yeah.
song as well there. She was a lot more sophisticated, a lot more jazzy, persuasive. I think she's still around. Yeah, still performing and such. Thank goodness.
Next on my list is Whitesnake.
Oh yeah. And that band formed it by David Coverdale back in the 1970s there, after Deep Purple folded in 76 there. I guess it was called David Coverdale's Whitesnake, and he would pick up former members of Deep Purple in that lineup there. The first song I heard from them was back in 1980 called Fool for Your Lovin'. And it was a pretty good song there. Years later, in '84, we would hear songs from Slide It In, Slow and Easy, the title cut, Love Ain't No Stranger. And of course, in 1987, the self-titled record comes out. Boom. Blows up massively. Still in the Night, Here I Go Again, Children of the Night, Is This Love? Give me, like, what's
Which
this?
I believe,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the same song or not, but I believe it's a Bob Marley cover.
Food for Your Love. Which one was it again? Food for Your
Is
Love?
This Love?
Is This Love?
No,
No, I
Is
think
This Love?
no. That's I believe that's a different. It's a different song there. This is more
Might
of
be
a
a
rock
different
ballad.
one.
Yeah, absolutely
The
there.
Pat Travers one was definitely a cover.
Yeah, but definitely songs do have they can sound different, but they can have the same title.
Yeah.
That's definitely for sure, man. But the story is David Coverdale, when that album first came out, he fired everybody in the lineup except for himself, citing ego, conflicts, and everything else. And what he did, he put together for the next few videos, he put together what was called an all-star lineup. Tommy Aldridge from Black Oak, Arkansas, and Ozzy Osbourne on drums. Rudy Sarzo, also from Ozzy Osbourne, and Quiet Riot on the bass guitar. Adrian Vandenberg, who was the guitarist for the band Vandenberg years earlier on, you remember a song. There's what's it called? This broken heart of mine. I think it's called there. I think it's God. It's been so long, man. But that was a that was a well-known hit on MTV and the radio. That particular song. And of course, Vivian Campbell, who was the original lead guitarist for Dio, the band, featuring, of course, Ryan James Dio. Right? And when they went on tour that supported that album, they ignored all the other Whitesnake albums that featured, Mickey Moody, John Lord, Ian Pace, and just concentrated on the Whitesnake album as well as songs from Slide It In. That was what because they figured that's what the people wanted to hear, blah, blah, blah. It's like, maybe the people need to hear something else. But if they do, they'll not cheer and stuff like that. But that's another different discussion there.
Okay. Next artist I have is Kenny Loggins, late of Loggins and Messina.
Yep. And we know his songs like A Danger Zone, his duet with Stevie Nicks called Whenever I Call You a Friend. Of course, he had a Footloose. That was another one that they put it out. And he had this good ballad called, what was it called? Let Love In, I think it's called. It came out in 1985. Let me look it up there.
He did a song from Caddyshack.
I'm All Right. That was a big hit in 1980 there. Yeah, massive.
This Is It.
Yep. Which I heard a year before the Caddyshack song came out there. Keep in mind. Love Will Follow. That's the name of the song. There you go. I found it on the Google search here. Yep. Oh, he had a lot of big hits.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, they came
Go.
out. Yep. The first time I heard of Guns N' Roses was in '86. It was an EP called "Live Like a Suicide," and they had Axl Rose and Duff McKagan had their hairs out to here. I was like, "What the heck are these guys here?" And I guess a year later in '87 they put it out, "Appetite for Destruction," which took a long while for the people to pick up and enjoy there, but that record
Well,
became a massive big hit.
it's interesting because a lot of people say that it's the only good album.
Because I know a lot of people say that, yeah, User Illusion 1 to 2 is pretty good, but compared to Appetite, it was, I'm sorry, it was okay, but Appetite, wow, man. And, when you think about it there, you know, Appetite for Destruction kind of like basically kind of opened the door for the sleaze look there that a lot of rock bands were coming up with at that time. LA Guns had that sleaze look and that sleazy approach. A band called the Sleaze Bees as well there. It was even a band called Rock City Angels who had Johnny Depp as a guitar player for a short while, from what I understand there. And of course, many bands try to follow that sleaze kind of stuff there, and some did, some didn't there. But you also got to keep in mind that along with being sleazy comes the drug use, and Guns N' Roses were known for that at one point there. In fact, the story was that the movie The Deadpool, which was one of the Dirty Harry movies that came out in '88, featured a cameo from some of the members of Guns N' Roses. And the drummer, Steven Adler, wasn't able to make the shoot because he was in the hospital after overdosing on heroin. He woke up and Axel was by his side. He stayed with him the whole time there. And Axel was like, dude, that was close, man. And
I'm gonna go listen to that. I'm gonna after this or when I get home, I'm gonna listen to Appetite for Destruction.
yep.
Cause my friend Mark, he said that's the greatest album ever made.
Yeah,
No,
well, not necessary. That's a great album. Definitely, it's an essential album for many. But in terms of the greatest album ever made, I think that belongs to Dark Side of the Moon, which, by the way, was
Oh,
up until about 1987 was still on the charts.
yeah. Wow.
15 years it was on the charts.
Well,
It came back on the charts, back in around 1994 when the Pink Floyd came back with the Division Bell.
wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
next one I got is Robert Palmer.
Oh yeah, Addicted to Love. Of course, his cover of "I Didn't Mean to Turn You On." He had a song. Let's not forget simply Irresistible. That was a big hit there. Of course, his stint with the Power Station, featuring members of excuse me, what I'm talking about. Featuring members of Duran Duran and the drummer from the funk band Chic. They made one album together, did a tour together, and that record was a massive, big hit. Mm-hmm.
Okay, next one I got is Pink Floyd, who did the last two Waters albums in the 80s.
Yep, The Wall and The Final Cut. And that was about it. They released one album after that, and it was called Momentary Lapse of Reason. Damn good record there. It was
And it was a Gilmore thing.
exactly there. Gilmore took over as the lead songwriter and lead member of the group there after Waters tried to take hold of the band's name. He sued the remaining two members at that time, Mason and Gilmore, which he failed. And what's kind of funny is that Richard Wright, who was let go from Pink Floyd, it took him how many years for him to officially be back in the band? That was back in when the Division Bell came out. That's when he decided to let him back into the group there. Why they didn't do that back then, back in '87, when Momentary Lapse came out, I have no clue. But Floyd, it got the biggest revenge on Roger by touring as Pink Floyd, selling out stadiums and big, huge arenas, while Roger was trying to promote his solo record, his concept album, Radio Chaos, and he was not packing any arenas, unfortunately, there. And the fact that he kept proclaiming himself that he was bigger than Pink Floyd, and every record he had to have put out had to be a concept album, was kind of wearing itself thin.
Yeah. A great CD live, or DVD live, sorry,
Yep.
is the Pulse Tour.
Yep, from '94.
They do on the second
Dark Side of the Moon.
disc.
Tired. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Because I remember hearing about that tour back when the Division Bell came out there, and you know what? I had a vinyl copy of the Division Bell that I gotten. It was a light blue vinyl release there, and it's a pretty respectable, mellow album there. Songs like High Hopes, Keep Talking, What Do You Want From Me, which by the way was written about Waters. Pretty was a mellow record. It was a lot more mellow than what Momentary Lapse of Reason was, because there was some heaviness on many of the tracks, like Terminal Frost, the last track Sorrow, which intro I just love. And it was I gotta say, shout out to Gilmore for keeping the Floyd machine going.
I got
Next
one.
What about
Go
that?
ahead.
Go ahead, dude.
NWA.
Ah, I see there.
Yep.
They came out in the '80s there. In fact, they when they put out that one song, "F the Police," that's when the FBI got jumped on their cases for that. And I guess the story was, I think I mentioned this before, they were doing a show in Detroit. I think it made the Joe Louis Arena the following year, after that record came out, straight out of Compton. And they were told not to perform F the Police, but they decided, to do it anyways. Well, it's our right with free speech and all that there. And that's when the members of the Detroit police came on stage, to arrest the group. That's when they ran off. There was a big riot that came about afterwards. I remember Ice Cube, in an interview later on, just saying that it was the police who started that riot, not NWA. So they got themselves in big trouble there with that song, but they also made lots of money, because when the story about that song hit the press, that's when everybody started buying the album.
True.
Once again,
I got one more.
one more thing. There's no such thing as
No.
bad publicity. Whoever coined that phrase was dead on.
I got one more artist. KRS-One.
Okay. Oh yeah, the rapper. He was one of the first, along with Public Enemy, was one that's preaching black power, black awareness, black knowledge, as I mentioned earlier. And that was a big thing back that time. Also include a rap group called X Clan, following the words of Malcolm X. I guess Public Enemy was singing, rapping about his philosophies and everything else there.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, Ark.
Next group's one I'm not all that familiar with, named Pixies.
Well, Pixies were like an alternative, band there. They were signed to a label I don't know where it's based, out of UK or whichever there. It was called 4AD. Now, 4AD is a record label that also had another group respected called Dead Can Dance. And you had other projects like This Mortal Coil signed on to that label as well there. I remember seeing all those records everywhere at the independent record shops there. Now, Pixie has, they had a lot of songs like Here Comes Your Man, other stuff there. Doolittle's, one of their big records that came out. I guess it may have been 88 or 89 or 1990. I forgot which year exactly, but they've been long respected by many of their fans throughout the 1980s. Brought the alternative crowd, as was well, basically it was more towards the dark underground crowd, as it was called at that time. We wouldn't get the alternative phrase until the start of the 1990s. Hmm.
Okay, next one I got is a band like a lot of their stuff.
Hmm.
Men at Work,
Oh yeah,
especially Overkill.
oh yeah, good song there. You know, it's like kind of sad what happened to that group. I guess when before the third record came out, they had well, what it was is that their first record went to number one, became a massive big hit. Who Can It Be Now? The lead off track from that first record became a massive radio and MTV hit there. The second record did well, just as well there. Songs like Dr. Heckle and Mr. Jive, Overkill, as you mentioned, a few other songs there. But the third record, I guess, it was missing a couple members. It was just three left, and it tanked for some reason there. I guess just people saying it just wasn't fun as the other two records were. I don't know. Maybe the whole thing died out for the band. Maybe they're finished before they even started, or really got to go there. I don't know what the whole story was there.
Okay, and Yes released albums in the 80s.
That
I
mess,
think Tomato was one of them.
Tomato. No, Tomato came out in 1979. I remember seeing that one there, and that was the last. And actually, the last record for them was 1980's Drama with members of the Buggles in the lineup. Anderson had Wakeman had left the group, and they got the two guys who did Video Killed the Radio Star, which will later become the TV's very first video. Now, Drama is a pretty damn good record in my account there. I don't know how everybody else feels about it there. Now, Yes would later break up because of arguments and other issues there. Now, Yes came back. Now, originally, when Yes came back in 1983, it was not supposed to have been Yes, but the record company suggested that, and wah wah wah, as long as it had Chris Squire, rest in peace, John Anderson on the vocals there, Alan White on drums, and a couple of new, Tony Kaye, the original keyboardist, on the keyboards there, as well as a new guitarist named Trevor Rabin. Now, 90120, 90120, no, it's 90125, which was the name of the album's catalog number there, would become this massive hit. Owner of a Lonely Heart, It Can Happen, Hold On, Changes, City of Love. The song Leave It was a massive, big on MTV there. You remember about how many different videos of that song, believe it or not.
And I think Big Generator followed, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And that took a few years after the last record, and it came out in 1987, and that had some good songs on there. Rhythm of Love, um, Love Will Find a Way, Shoot High, Aim Low. Good stuff there. The title cut there, not too bad. Hmm.
Next bunch I got is the Thompson Twins.
Oh yeah, we know that their stuff still
They had
gets.
some good stuff.
Yeah, like Love on Your Side, Lies. I remember the video for that. Really interesting video how it was done there. Songs like Hold Me Now, which was a big hit there. Some of their stuff, earlier stuff, still gets played on soft rock stations at times, even at the satellite radio at the place I work at. Believe it or not.
Next group, the Bangles.
Oh yeah, all girl band there. I guess the name was it was supposed to sound like the Beatles somewhere, but a different kind of a it was kind of a homage to the Beatles because they were talking about the Beatles and how much they meant to them when they first got together. And it was after John Lennon's murder that occurred there that kind of brought this group together. And they had songs
Oh,
like Man at
what?
Money, written by Prince under the name Christopher. You know, their cover of Hazy Shade of Winter, the Simon Garfunkel song there. And he had other songs there, like a different, what's it called? Burning
Did they
Flame.
do? They're the ones that did "Walk Like an Egyptian."
Yep, they did, yes. And let's not forget, Susanna Hoff starred in this movie. It was, I guess it was her only movie role called The All Nighter. And that came, I guess it came out in '88 or '87 if I'm correct there. But that was her only big movie role there.
Keith had something he was going to say.
Go ahead, Keith. There, Keith.
Okay. Shantae with Shantae's Revenge.
Shantae's Shantae's Revenge.
Yeah, she's a female rapper, and someone dissed her, and she dissed them back
Mm.
in the
Shantae.
80s.
Is this the same Sade? No, Shantae. Oh, Shantae. That's You mean that must have been the early years of hip hop when Roxanne was out, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's called Roxanne's Revenge.
There you go. I was thinking about that as well. The group that did that was UTFO. The same
Oh,
group that I
all right.
mentioned a long while back did that song with Anthrax. That was in 1987 there. And and I guess that the song was kind of far back at the group for that one song there.
Yep.
Yep.
Wait, so who dissed UTFO?
I don't know. I know. I'm not much on UFT. I just remember Roxanne, Roxanne briefly played whenever my sister was driving a car there. She would play
Yep.
all whatever what was trending on the radio at the moment there at that time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then the group Chicago did a lot of stuff in the 80s.
That's right there. Oh yeah. In fact, it's kind of funny if they mention that because it took a new producer named David Foster to get them back on track because they were not hot for a while there. They signed a new record label and they got a new producer, got a more converted sound there, and they carried that sound throughout the whole 1980s there. The only problem is most of the hits had to be ballads like Hard for Me to Say I'm Sorry, You're the Inspiration, and other soft stuff like there like Look Away or Will You Still Love Me. Apparently, of course, as you mentioned, that they became one of the big victims of the same formula theory that also struck Nickelback and other bands as well there.
Right.
Yeah, but Your Inspiration still remains a big hit played on the soft rock circuits today there, I understand.
Luther Vandross.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Can I say that safely say that Luther has always been one of my guilty pleasures? I mean, we first heard this guy when he sang back up on the song "Young Americans" by David Bowie. He will later emerge with his solo career. Never Too Much still gets played on R&B stations today. There, his cover of "A House Is Not a Home," a massive tearjerker. His cover of "Superstar," the Carpenter's tune, which I said many times, and I'll still say, he made to an absolute epic.
Actually, I think that's a Leon Russell tune, but I could be wrong.
Don't you remember you
All I
told?
know, but I mean, I think Leon Russell wrote it.
Let me
I think.
look it
It
up
wasn't the
there.
Carpenters.
Yeah, the Carpenter's. We know the Carpenter's tune there. Let me look it up there.
That was a cover.
Let's see. Let me look it up there. But Luther was always, he's been known to do female covers, and he made it a lot more. He made it his own. Either way, he also did an excellent cover of "Love the One You're With," the Stephen Stills tune there. Okay, there, Superstar song, not the song Okay. Song by the Carpenters. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Let me look at the Wiki. Who first sang the song Superstar? Delaney and Bonnie.
Well,
And
I was actually looking for the writer.
right there. Okay. And it says here who originally wrote Superstar. It was a song written in 1969 by Leon Russell and Bonnie Bramlett from the Delaney and Bonnie duo there. Oh, but
Yeah, I
the
thought
song. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was pretty sure Leon Russell had something to do with that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. In fact, of course, it's been the two other known versions of that song was, of course, by the two people we mentioned, Carpenters in 1971 and Luther Vandross in 1983. Oh, that's by the way, Luther had other good songs like "Creepin'," "If Only for One Night." You know, he was like one of the classic R&B balladeers, and sadly he left us in 2005. There, rest in peace, Luther.
We need to we need to actually do a guilty pleasure show where
I would
we
love.
sit here and we confess.
Absolutely, there are guilty pleasures. Whether it's believe me, I have a few guilty pleasures myself. I will say there. I
Well, I
definitely.
have quite a few actually.
All right there.
Okay, next one on my list is De La Soul. I don't know who that is.
De La Soul, yes, a rap group there. They had this one song that sampled some George Clinton called. They had this one record called 3 Feet High and Rising. And I guess one of the members passed away not too long ago there. I forgot, don't know which one there. Me, Myself, and I. That was the name of this song. It was like a. And I guess, I don't know what song they sampled, but it was from the George Clinton Funkadelic or Parliament days there. But they sampled that, and that became a big hit there. And
Okay.
also interesting video. They were more like wearing daisy chains other than gold chains when you think about it there. They're trying to be like the black hippie, peacenik type of guys there.
Next one I know who it is, but I'm not fond of the music. Gloria Estefan and Miami Sound Machine.
Oh man, I'm not that fond of them either there. In fact, she was played over a lot there when you think about it there. She's one of those soft rock circuits there again. But yet, you know what? Give her credit for surviving the bus accident that she had in 1990. I don't know sure what the situation that happened, but the bus that she was on got struck. Her her spinal cord was almost severed all the bit except for one spot, one little spot of that spine. If that was broken, no going back. She got the spinal surgery, was still able to walk. It took a long while there, and she's still going good today there. Right. I gotta go take a leak. You and Keith keep up the conversation till I get back. Okay. Bye bye.
Hey Keith, we got it dumped on us.
Yeah.
Next one I have
Yep.
is
Yeah.
Culture Club. Remember them? Boy
Not
George.
really. No.
Well, damn. Shoot.
Okay. Ice-T.
Oh yeah. You know what I like him in? Is that
What?
Law and Order SVU. He's
Yeah.
good in that series.
Me too. There's this one song I listened to from him from the 80's. It's like he's rapping like he's dealing drugs, but it's really he's doing his music. And it's
Yeah.
like
But for me, the good days of Law and Order SVU was when Richard Belzer was a part of it, which is funny because as a comedian, I didn't like him, but in Law and Order SVU, I did like him. And
which one which character is he in SVU?
well, it was about the early 6 years or so that he was he was actually Ice-T's partner.
Oh, what was his name in the show?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay.
And Chris Maloney was Mariska Hargitay's partner in that show. And You know, Miss Mariska Hargitay is Jane Mansfield's daughter, right? But you're saying to yourself, who's Jane Mansfield, right?
Right.
Look her up. She's got a prominent feature, if you get my drift.
Okay. Uh,
Tragic what happened to her. She was killed in a car accident, and basically she lost her head. It was severed.
yeah, how do you spell it? How do you spell her name?
Jayne Mansfield, Mansfield. She was a big star in the 60s and 70s. 60s, I think. Maybe the 70s.
Okay. Wow, my internet's moving really slowly right now. Oh. Okay. Oh, I see.
See
Kind
what I
of
mean?
like Marilyn Monroe.
But with more up front, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah,
the funny
yeah.
thing
Yep.
was, she was, I think, a certified very high IQ genius, but always
Wow.
played the dumb blonde.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back, guys. Man, my back
While
Okay.
you
tape's
were
full.
gone, we were discussing some of Law and Order SVU. Do you remember the character's name that Richard Belzer played?
John Munch. Yeah, he was one of the detectives.
Munch,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I heard he passed
Oh,
away,
okay.
man.
Didn't he? Yeah.
Hmm.
He was in the first
He
8 seasons or so.
I believe so. Yeah, there. I guess he finally departed. I forgot which season it was, but he was best remembered for other movies. I guess he was in a Night Shift with Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton
Yeah.
as well.
Basically, I was telling Keith that he was partnered with Ice-T, who I love Ice-T in that show.
Oh yeah,
And Richard Belzer I liked in that show, but I didn't like him as a comedian. I didn't think he was funny.
yeah. I never really saw. I never really saw any of his stand-up routine there, but he
But
was great. He was great in that series there. You know.
and we also talked about I think it was Christopher Maloney that was Mariska Hargitay's first partner,
Yes,
and
Elliot Stabler,
Uh,
Mariska Hargitay. Yeah.
she was Jane Mansfield's daughter, and we got into Jane Mansfield, and I
Oh
told
yeah.
Keith to go take a look.
Absolutely, there.
He was
Especially,
impressed.
yeah, especially took a look at a photo of Mansfield and seeing it at the table next to Sophia Loren, and Lauren looking at her like with this evil jealousy look on her face. That's probably one of the most iconic photos of all time. There, and
And I
also,
had mentioned to him that I think she was a certified genius with a very high IQ, but she always played the dumb blondes because that's what they asked her to do.
obviously, that's how Hollywood is at times. There.
Yep.
Of course, years later, Suzanne Summers would reprise that stereotype in Three's Company.
Yeah.
And by the
Okay, we
way,
left off.
wait a minute, we also got to acknowledge Ice-T since we're on the subject there. He had a lot of good records out back in the 1980s. Ryan Pays, Power, The Iceberg. He sang that song Colors, which was the theme of this for the movie of the same name with Sean Penn and Robert Duvall. That movie gained a lot of controversy because they feared that gangs would come see it, and then there'll be conflicts, shootouts in the theaters and such, and that never happened. Ice-T put it out a lot of good records out there, like our most requested song, Power, Pimpin' Ain't Easy, but somebody's got to do it. So he deserves a lot of credit there.
Okay, we left off on Culture Club.
Mm-hmm.
Boy George.
Carbon Chameleon. Do you?
Do you
Oh,
really?
dude, when we first heard of this guy, it was like, is it a man? Is it a woman? In fact, one of our neighbors we were talking about, it's like, did you know that this Boy George is actually a guy? He's like, what? Yeah, because the guy dressed like I'm not too sure it was if it was kind of a female fashion or what it was, but
No, it was more of what do they call it?
androgynous.
No, the look.
Mm.
where you don't know which it is. There is a look, and I can't remember what they call it.
I don't know. It's like I'm not too sure. I always thought it was androgynous, if I was correct. But I may be wrong there.
That's probably right. I don't know.
I don't know,
It's not something I kept up with.
but yet that look became very popular throughout that whole period of the 1980s. There were a couple other people, like other singers that came out trying to copy that, but give it their own little bit to it. Pete Burns from Dead or Alive, he one time even claimed he started that particular look, which Boy George reputed against that. And there was a singer who was, I guess, was gay, but also dressed like a chick. His name was Marilyn. He's no longer around, along with Pete Burns. They both passed on, while George is still here.
Next one I got, you may have heard of this guy, Pete Townsend.
Oh yeah, he had a few some solo records out there.
I think just as the Town Rough Mix came out.
hmm I remember Empty Glass. That came out in
Right.
1980. There, that was a good record from him. I also remember having an album from him called "All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes." Face Dances Part Two was a good song there. This Sea Refuses No River. Stop Hurting People. I know Slip Skirts, I think is the name of the closing track of that album there. Somebody
Ne-
Save Me. That was a good song.
Next one I got is Sonic Youth.
Another alternative band there. They had a side project called Chicone Youth there. I guess named after Madonna's real last name there.
Then I got Depeche Mode.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, they're going on tour, but unfortunately, it's just the remaining two members, David Gahan and Martin Gore. Andy Fletcher from the group passed away early last year there, and I guess the other guy, oh, Andy and Alan Wild. He was another member of the group. He left the group back in 1997 there. And they had a lot of hits, Depeche Mode did with People Are People, Construction Time Again, Shake the Disease, Sea of Sin, Just Can't Get Enough. Yeah, big hit on the new wave, goth circuit there. Still played on the retro stuff. You cannot go to classic numbers at Numbers nightclub on a Friday evening and not hear Depeche Mode for sure, man. My personal favorite has to be Sea of Sin. I used to dance to that when I used to go to Lipstick's nightclub in Clinton Township, Michigan throughout the 1990s there, later part of the 90s.
Next one I got is Cyndi Lauper.
And we know her big song, "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," and it's fits to say that she played a big part in pro wrestling getting into the mainstream.
Yeah.
Captain Lou Albano, who was signed to the WWF at that time, as it was called, was a manager. He had managed a lot of tag teams. He was also one of the biggest heels in the wrestling business there. He was featured in the video for "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," and they decided, oh hey, let's have a storyline. Let's have Captain Lou get so starstruck. He claims that he did this for Cyndi. He did that for Cyndi, and that's when we first heard of all the. That's when we first heard of him, Roddy Piper. That's how Hulk Hogan really made it big there after winning the world title from the Iron Sheik. And that's when pro wrestling really took off there. And let's not forget Wendy Richter later become the women's WWF Women's Champion after beating the Fabulous Moolah after holding on to that title for about 28 years, if I'm correct. Wow.
Long time, but I don't know if it's that long or not. I don't know.
I think it was. I don't know. There was the WWF had a lot of three groundbreakers. Bruno Sammartino held the world title for 8 years. The Fabulous Moolah held the, I guess, the women's title for about 20 something years. And Captain Lowell Albano managed 16 different tag team champions teams.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next one. Well,
Hmm.
on Cyndi Lauper, another song she did I like to was "Time After Time."
Yep. As well as her cover of What's Going On, the Marvin Gaye tune. That was back in 1986 there.
Then we got Tracy Chapman.
Oh yeah, we know her song "Fast Car," which was one of the folky, kind of like it was kind of like that's when the oh it's all about the music style started taking form there, along with that Edie Brickell girl there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then you got Paul Simon, who had a string of stuff in the 80s.
You can call me Al, Boy in the Bubble. That album Graceland that made a lot of news because it kind of broke a rule, no associating with musicians from South Africa. And Simon decided to break that rule, and he got away with it. That album, I guess, don't went to number 1. Had a spot, became a massive seller, massive talk of the town, and did it win any Grammys the following year, if I'm correct?
I don't keep up with the Grammys.
No, neither do I. Let me look it up right now. There. Let's see here. Let me.
And while you're looking that up, I'll mention the next guy, which
Okay.
was Don Henley.
Oh yeah, very successful solo career, along with Glenn Fry as well. We know
Sunset Grill.
Sunset, The Boys of Summer. All she wants to do is dance. Johnny Can't Read. I Can't Stand Still.
Dirty Laundry.
Dirty Laundry. That was inspired by him watch all the TV that he watched it after the Eagles broke up there.
No, thank you.
Hmm?
He's talking to someone off camera.
I know.
Off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
the staff members of the group joint that he's in there.
Yep.
Let's see
That's
here.
what I was talking.
You're non-jail, right?
Pretty
It's
much.
not a jail.
I know.
Not
I
at
said
all.
it's
No.
non-jail.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
All right. Yeah.
You know what?
It's a house.
It's a joint there. Either way there.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
joint.
YR's back here. You're back, YR.
No.
Yo? What's up? Everything okay, YR?
Yeah, we're in a storm here, so I'm just
Really? How is
Me too.
how is it there? Is it
80 mile an hour wind.
It's like a thunderstorm or this hurricane that you mentioned or what?
Tornado.
Tornado? Oh shit. No, I gotta definitely bat down the hatches for that.
It's like, why? It's like there's no tornado, but it looks like there's a tornado just based on the weather.
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah, I know. We had a lot of bad weather back in Michigan many times there, so it's like nothing new to me there.
Yeah.
You didn't have no hurricanes up there.
You know what? It's kind of funny you mentioned that. We never did. In fact, it's safe
Well,
to
there's
say.
a good reason for that.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. And plus, it fits to say that that Hurricane Harvey back in 2017 was probably the first hurricane I ever experienced. Even though it was far away from H-Town, Houston, but we certainly felt it throughout that whole weekend. But what was good was that the fight of the century was taking place that weekend. McGregor versus Mayweather. So every YouTube show was covering that whole event there. That was like the fight of the century.
Next one I got the Pet Shop Boys.
Oh, we know their songs.
I don't care about them.
Well, they had songs like "Let's Opportunities," "Let's Make Lots of Money." The big one was "West End Girls." They had other songs like "What Have I Done to Deserve This," which featured Dusty Springfield. And I guess it's safe to say that they were most interesting because they appealed to a gay audience, but we don't know if they were actually gay themselves. But then again, you can never tell. Donna Summer appeals to the gay audience at times, believe it or not.
Bette Midler.
Bette Midler, yeah. She grew up a lot around gay people herself there. She was supposed.
Next one.
Go ahead.
Go
In
ahead.
fact, Barry Manilow used to play piano for her, believe it or not, in those earlier years. Dewey decided to become a left, leave and become a solo artist himself, establish his own career.
Next artist I got, Paul McCartney.
Yeah, he had a lot. Wings was already done at this point. He got busted in Japan early 1980 for bringing weed in, which is a big no-no.
Which inspired Band on the Run, didn't it?
No, Band on the Run was back earlier in this 1970s there, when Wings was still on the Apple Records label there. McCartney had just signed a new deal with Columbia CBS there, and he just started his new trend throughout the 80s there, including that song he did with Michael actually two songs with Michael Jackson. The Girl Is Mine and Say Say Say.
Did McCartney 2 come out in the 80s?
Yes, that was in 1980. That's when the song Coming Up was released there. And the interesting video, all the characters in that video was done by Paul and the late Linda McCarthy, his wife of many years.
Yeah, I even recognized him doing the Sparks guys, the two brothers,
Yep.
Ron and Russell Mael.
Yes, we know. And also, as well as the Frank Zappa as well.
Yeah.
Interesting out there. I guess the drummer with the beard, goatee, and beard that was supposed to represent the frontman of Jethro Tull, Ian Anderson. No, go ahead there.
Then we follow with the Go-Go's.
And we know the song there. It's like we know their big songs. We Got the Beat. Our Lips Are Sealed.
Vacation.
Head Over Heels. It was poppy, that's for sure. The stuff for the Valley Girl scene up there.
Okay. Next one I got, Fleetwood Mac was still going strong in the
mid-80s there. Yeah, the song Hold Me, the album Tango in the Night, a song of Big Love, Seven Wonders, Everywhere. They had a lot of interesting stuff in the 80s there. Now, it's kind of funny is that people are talking about, the recent Fleetwood Mac tour with Neil Finn and Mike Campbell from Tom Petty's band doing Lindsey Buckingham's chores on guitar and vocals there. That happened before, back in 1987. They got Rick Vito, who played with Bob Seger's Silver Bullet band, if I'm correct, a year before, and an artist named Billy Burnett, who releases some records of his own years earlier. And they got to be members of Fleetwood Mac for that tour in 87, as well as an album that followed a year later called Behind the Mask. And that record didn't really do that much there, unfortunately, there, because it wasn't the Mac that we all know and love. But Fleetwood Mac, still did pretty well there. Yep. What?
Dr. Brown Bath Special.
What special?
Wait, let me look. Bath. Baath.
Bath, B-E-T-H.
No, Baath.
T-H. I see there. Bath with two A's in it.
Yeah.
Where's you reading that from?
YR wrote it.
Okay. All right. Is it in the Skype chat here?
No, I sent it to my personal Skype.
Okay. All right, there.
He's talking about Sebastian Bach from Skid Row.
Oh, I
Skid
see
Row
there.
band.
Oh that came out.
Boss.
Yeah, 1989 that record came out. Massive big hit on MTV and radio there. Youth Gone Wild, I Remember You, Piece of Me.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely got to look them up.
Next one on the list I'm reading from
Mm-hmm.
is Salt and Pepper.
Oh gosh, I was never big fans of them. They had a couple of rap, top 40 rap hits there. I was not big on them. I think my sister was big on them for a while there,
Well,
but
hold on, Brown.
blah blah blah.
In the 80s, in the 1980s, when you go to the clubs and stuff, like you do now, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They did have, and this is crazy. I don't know if Keith knows about this, some of the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, really back kind of in the 90s, and they quit in the 2000s, but you could smoke cigarettes inside
Yep.
of those clubs, the bars, back,
Yep.
you know.
They did. You could smoke in the restaurants. You could smoke. I don't know about movie. I don't remember, but I think of it. They did in movie theaters as well. It was okay to do that stuff back then. Nowadays, you get in trouble for that. Possibly arrested,
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't remember that.
Oh, because obviously, I should take you to my TARDIS sometime, Keith, and show you for myself there.
Oh wait, I do remember. I remember you could smoke anywhere. I remember
Yep,
that.
absolutely there.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, my dad smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day,
Mm. I never took
and
up the habit myself.
he died when I was 6
Mm.
from smoking too many cigarettes.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons, main reasons why I never took up smoking ever.
What was his age, Keith?
37.
Mm.
Well,
No.
same age as
Wow.
me.
No. What did he die of?
Wait, what was his age? Oh, I think it was
Died too many
37.
cigarettes. That's a young age to
Yeah.
die of cigarettes.
Well, okay, he ran marathons for fun, and he smoked like 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Bad choice.
Yeah, so the marathons and the cigarettes together created a heart attack. He had a heart attack.
Oh
Mm.
man, never. If you're gonna run marathons, you don't smoke in general. Period.
Yep. Yeah.
I had a heart failure episode
Oh wow.
about 2013 or 14, something like that.
Oh wow there.
I was at work,
Mm-hmm.
working away, typing, you know, in an Excel spreadsheet because I did that. And all of a sudden, I just kind of got woozy and dizzy and
Whoa.
passed out and fell. They heard me, came in and saw me laying on the floor,
Uh-oh.
and they had to give me CPR and the chest thing. And next thing I knew, I woke up in the hospital and I had a doctor there, lady doctor, patting my hand saying, "You're going to be all right now. You're going to be all right. You were clinically dead for 10 minutes, but you'll
Holy
make it."
cow, dude. Wow.
And I said, "Oh, okay." Yeah, it's funny because next time when I went to see the heart doctor,
Mhm.
he sat down at the desk and he looked at me. He said, "You know how lucky you are?" And I said, "No." And he says, "About 90% of the people that went through what you did do not survive.
Wow.
And about half the ones that do survive have brain damage.
Wow.
And you obviously
dude.
don't have that either." And I said, wait a minute, the jury's out on that one.
Wow, man, that's a trip.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the other person who experienced a couple heart attacks, of course, would be Minnesota Vikings fan. You know, he had a two of himself in the past. He was describing all that when me, YR, and Mars and Nikki Nines were on the Mars' show that one Saturday evening a few weeks back there.
Yeah, they even did the paddle things to,
The stent?
clear
Hmm.
on me.
Oh,
And
wow.
I guess that's what brought me to. I don't know.
Wow. Did they do the same thing they did with Minnesota? The stent, I guess it's called.
No, I didn't have to have anything.
Oh, wow.
When they went in and checked, they said I was okay and clear. I
That's
didn't
good.
need any of the extra stuff.
That's
Although
good
I
to
did
hear.
I did end up with a, what do they call it, defibrillator? I do
Defibrillator.
have one of those on me.
I see there.
I had a
Wow.
pacemaker, but they said I didn't really need that one. So they just went with this straight defibrillator.
I see
So I
there.
got one of those on me.
I see there. Now, did any of your
I would
part go gimpy on you?
do what?
Gimpy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you gotta look at that Mars Mirror show that me and YR was on weeks back to know what we're talking about there. Anyways, okay, let's get back to the list there.
Next one I got is DJ Jazzy
Jeff
Jeff
and the
and
Fresh
Fresh
Prince.
Prince.
Yep, it's Will Smith's first venture into entertainment there. Songs like,
And he has a song called "Summertime."
yeah, that was later in the 90s. We're talking about the 80s
Oh,
when Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble was a big hit on urban radio.
oh, okay.
Definitely got to look that up. A Nightmare on My Street, well, just one of those days. All those songs. They were basically like the Abbott and Costello of rap music at that time there.
Didn't they do some kind of song that was kind of along the lines of "I Dream of Jeannie"?
Not that I know of really there, but I could be mistaken. Who knows?
I don't know. I didn't follow them all that much. I didn't, you know.
Yeah, I only know the songs that I heard that was played on the radio at that time there.
They weren't my wheelhouse.
Never mind, neither there.
Neither's the next one I got, the Pointer Sisters. Although they did have some good stuff.
Oh gosh, I remember what are the, you know what? They still play some of those songs at the, much credit to the radio that we have at our workplace that goes through the speakers. They play almost everything, whether it's Guns N' Roses, to the Pointer Sisters, to Al Stewart, to Elvis. The only thing it's missing is the Beatles. For crying out! Oh, they did play the Beatles. They played "Come Together" um, this past Tuesday. There, thank goodness for that.
They probably pay for Pandora, and they just like make a whole bunch of radio stations on Pandora.
Pay me maybe so there. Who knows? So
That's
I'm.
that's what they do. In the place where I work, they have like, I don't know, it's like 100 different Pandora stations, and they just put it on play, and it plays all the stations like all day long.
Oh no, because I remember, you know what? The Goodwills back in I used to visit back in Texas used to play all the 60s and 50s music there. The one Goodwill store I visited near where we live, they at least they had a more updated music there, like some of the stuff from the 80s, 70s, 90s there, which is good there. 'Cause after a while, when you listen to 60s stuff there almost repeatedly, it's like, come on, enough already, you know?
Yeah, the place where I work, they play everything from like 1970 to right now.
Ah, I see there. Hmm.
They play everything.
That's a good idea because you get to learn who inspired who when you think about it.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Which is the point of this program. Speaking of programs, we gotta take the sidebar here to plug ARC's Patreon page there. Go to patreon.com/Arknolia. You're gonna get tons and tons of good content from the Arc Man himself, ranging from sports, entertainment, movies, music, TV programs, pro wrestling, you name it. Definitely sign up for that if you get a chance, everybody. Help my boy Arkman out, man. Definitely for
Hey,
sure.
thank you
Yep.
for the plug.
You're welcome there. And who do we have next on the list, my man?
Guy you probably heard of,
Mm-hmm.
Bob Seger.
Oh, yeah, we know. Mm-hmm. I Like a Rock, that was featured in all the Chevy commercials later on after that song came out. Of course, Against the Wind, which is a good song
Yeah.
there. The interesting story behind that song there. Fire Lake, of course, Roll Me Away, Making Thunderbirds, all
Yeah.
those songs there. Of course, you cannot forget the song Shakedown for the Beverly Hills Cop 2 soundtrack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next one I got is Toto.
Rosanna. About Rosanna Arquette, who was the actress who was one of the members at that time. And of course, the same record would feature a song that later got covered by the band Weezer, Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting video for the original version there. Total, of course, Rosanna was also a big hit just as well there on MTV and on radio. Other songs like Make Believe, All Us Boys, you know, I Won't Hold Back, many songs. I had songs like
Stranger in Town.
Stranger in Town, and of course, what's that one called? What is my life without you? Forgot the name of that one. Went out. I'll be over you. That was a number.
Right.
That was a number. Big hit there for them. It's not the same without your love. That's the name of the song I'm thinking of at that time. And props to Steve Lukather because he provided some help for the Tube's two big hits, She's a Beauty and Talk to You Later. He played lead guitar on both those tracks there. And he also got then singer Bobby Kimball to sing back up on She's a Beauty.
Next one I got Stevie Wonder. His career was winding down, but he had some good songs then.
Stevie Wonder?
Yeah.
Ah, and we heard those songs like, oh yeah, interesting enough, he had a couple hits from the soundtrack he did for The Woman in Red, the Gene Wilder comedy there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He also did albums like In Squared Circle, Hotter Than July, Send One My Love was a big one there. Jammin', I think, was another one there.
Yeah. Then you had Foreigner.
Oh yeah, the Foreigner with Lou Graham, not the Foreigner that we have now, which is going to be coming to an end pretty soon after the tour there.
Yeah. Didn't I Want to Know What Love Is come out in the 80s?
Yes, it came out in 1985. It was on a record called Agent Provocateur, and you had some good stuff on that record there. That was Yesterday, She's Too Tough, Tooth and Nail, which is a good song. One of my favorites from that record was Two Different Worlds. Down on Love was another good song there that they did. So unfortunately, of course, he had other hits later on, like Say You Will.
Right.
What's that one other ballad that they put out? Don't wanna live without you. If I think that's the title of it, if I'm correct there. Okay, there.
Okay. Next one I got is
We cannot forget Foreigner 4. That was a big record there. Urgent, Woman in Black, Waiting for a Girl Like You. Massive big hit on the radio and on the charts there as well.
Well, I got a song. Is this 80s? Warrant Cherry Pie.
Oh yeah. Well, Cherry Pie was in 1990, believe it or not.
Oh.
But Warrant does deserve a nod because I first saw them in 1988 in the Ritz and Roseville opening for Paul Stanley when he did his only solo tour there. And they did songs from a record they had out at that time called Filthy Rotten Stinking Rich. They did the title cut. The song Down Boys was played on the radio. The song Ballad Heaven was soon to follow as the second single. You had some good stuff there.
Yeah.
Yep.
okay. I think the last one for tonight because it's about that time.
It is. Yeah, I noticed.
Rod Stewart.
He had a lot of hits in the 80s. Infatuation. Some Guys Have All the Luck, which was done by Robert Palmer. And also, what's that one called? Forever Young. That was in the 80s there.
Right. And that was a cover too of I think a Bob Dylan song.
Wait a minute, Forever Young. I think Forever Young was 1991, if I'm correct. But he had a lot of hits in the 1980s there. He was still towards in the main rocks uh, set there. That's when he decided in the 90s to convert to the more soft rock standards there. You know, all right. I guess, I guess that'll be it for the time being up to the next week
We'll
there.
do part two.
That's right there. And Wire couldn't stay, as you noticed there. I tried to get Mr. Joshua Hamilton on the call here under his current name that he uses on Skype, but he said he wasn't able to join in. And Keith, your boy Brian,
Yeah.
when he comes in the next time, tell him you can tell him that he's feel free to say whatever he wants to discuss, because he's been on
On
this
topic.
on topic. So stay on topic. That's about it. And of course, no drama. You know, we do
Okay.
we
Yeah.
do take
He doesn't.
call-ins. We do take call-ins. We do take questions, comments, and concerns. Just no trolling and stay on topic. That's the only thing we ask. That's about it.
Yeah. He doesn't even know anything about the drama.
Oh yeah, there. Well, you'll have a good time here. That's for shizzle.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
there.
I'll tell him that.
Okay, there. And plus, I guess that's done for tonight. I'm gonna compile the two parts together there, and I'm gonna upload that on my channel for sure there. All right, so that'll be it for tonight there. I'm gonna do some work on here, and for Ark YR, Keith, and myself, you guys have a good one. Enjoy the rest of
All
your
right.
Wednesday evening. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.